Good morning and welcome to Women Who Rock with Success, where we profile and feature professional and entrepreneurial women for their brand. And so, good morning once again, and my name is Diane Winbush. I will be your show host for this morning's session. So just wanted to remind you of the upcoming event that we have on April the 12th that will be held at the Hollywood Community Center located at 1560 North Hollywood, and that's Memphis, Tennessee, zip code 38108, and it's a women's luncheon, and so you can be able to come out and get resources, tools, and tips. Also, for May the 18th, we have an additional event that will be coming up for women as well, and that's going to be on a Saturday, and that's going to be a breakfast brunch for women, and we have some dynamic speakers that are lined up to be able to impact you for your business, and we're so thankful for all of the previous and past events that you have supported us on, and so we would love to see you there. So today we will be speaking with Robyn Babina, and Robyn is a BFA in film drama from Syracuse University, and the opportunity was given to her through experience of multiple facets of the film and television industry, and led to a 10-year career directing school productions and teaching drama. A pivotal change for Robyn's career arrived in 2012 when she ran the role of Marcy in a production of You Are a Good Man, Charlie Brown. So we would like to welcome her to the show on today. Welcome and good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing great. So just with that brief description that we gave, just tell us a little bit more about you.
Okay. Well, I live in Connecticut, and I am a mother of two little boys. And I did get a BFA in film drama from Syracuse University many years ago. And I absolutely have always wanted to be in the entertainment industry. And but I grew up in the 90210 phase when everybody had to be, beautiful and blonde and, stick figure. And I never really thought that I was going to be able to be in front of the camera. So instead I decided to take the route of going behind the camera. So I was a film production major, actually, in college. And I did that a little bit, but I wasn't really fulfilled with that. I really just, really wanted to be in front of the camera. I really wanted to be an actress. But, again, I didn't really think that that would ever happen. It was, just one of those things that just I didn't really think I would be able to do. At a younger age, I didn't have a lot of self-confidence, and I just didn't feel like, I would ever succeed at it. And then after being in behind the scenes for a while, I just didn't feel fulfilled at all. So I kind of gave up on doing doing entertainment altogether, and I pursued another one of my passions, which was to be a teacher. And I was a teacher for about 15 years. But while I was teaching, the administrators at the schools that I taught at realized that I had a drama degree, and they asked me to teach drama as well as elementary ed, which is what I had a master's in. And so I taught drama for about 10 years, but about 6 or 7 years in, I started to get a lot of questions from my students. They were asking me a lot of practical questions, things I didn't have answers to, like what's it like to be on a stage, or what's it like to be in a film, what's it like to be on TV. And I didn't really know the answers to those questions. So in order to bring back more information to my students, I decided to try. I was later on in my life, and I said, you know what, if I'm not going to do it now, when am I going to do it? So I joined a local theater group, and I went on stage, and I loved it. And I kind of caught the acting bug, as they call it, And I started to do a lot more. I started to do some short films. I started to do some background work on TV so I could, so I could be on actual sets. Started to do some short films, and then I started taking acting classes. And I just from there it just flourished, and I loved it so much. And about 2 or 3 years after, starting that, I said to my husband, you know what, this is really what I want to pursue. This is really what I want to do. I always have, and now I'm just think this is what I'm meant to do. So I stopped teaching, and now I do this full time.
Wow, that is an awesome background. I remember taking drama in school, and I'm not for sure what compelled me to do it. I don't know if it was an option that they had on the high school lineup or something. I'm not for sure, but I didn't succeed in that. But later on, I guess later on I got into working with women and with working with them, and then I began to do some other things in regards to television, not ABC or CBS, but other digital television. And so it's a rewarding career where my issue is that, or I guess not issue, my what kind of, made me kind of drive for that was just to spotlight women, because there are so many women out there. They're waiting to get on stage, whether it's a physical stage or whether it's a background stage, digital stage, whatever stage it is. They're waiting to get onto stage, and so that's what kind of caused me to love what I do, and that's just interesting that you wanted to do it from, I guess, when you were younger, and so that's awesome. So now you're actually living what it is that you desire to do. That's perfect.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, I am.
So what are they? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say the course that I taught, the drama courses that I taught, were actually they were actually required in the schools that I taught. It was more of a situation where they wanted the students to be able to feel comfortable being in front of an audience. So it wasn't only just the drama aspects, but being comfortable with yourself, being comfortable for what you have to put out there. So that was a really great thing to be a part of as well, to be able to give them that aspect, because I think if I had that growing up, that I wouldn't have been as afraid to do it when I was younger.
Wow. So just to kind of, I guess, back up just a little bit before I go to the next question. So by you teaching drama then and you're doing acting now, do you hear any reviews or anything from the students that you taught that, look, I'm finally, done got it here. I done, cut my first movie, or I did my first show. How does the students, your former students, react to that, or if they have?
I have had a couple of students actually go on to Broadway. I had one student of mine, I taught her in 5th grade, and she went on to Broadway. Yeah, that was really fun, and I've seen her in a couple of different things. The digital age and social media, Facebook is amazing, because I've reconnected with a bunch of my students, so I can actually see what they've done. And yeah, so it's really nice. I mean, kids that I taught many, many, many years ago, who are now in like their first and second jobs. It's great. But yeah, I have had one student who I know went to Broadway, one who was in a film. So yeah, it's great. It's great to be able to see that.
So that could be awesome to, like, it's like a legacy trail, I guess I would use that term, if I could, like a legacy trail, because if it's something that you have taught them, and now you're in the production and you're in film and what have you, and then they come in behind you and they start pursuing some of the things that they have been taught by you, that's awesome. That's like a legacy trail to me, that you have left, or like an impression that you have left even upon them, and then they can be able to visualize, okay, that was my school teacher. She taught me in drama, and so there she is, right there. And so I think that is so interesting. So what were the strongest key points for your career as as wanting to be in film and acting?
I think that I always loved the idea of being able to express my emotions in, other forms, kind of taking on the persona of someone else. I really loved to be able to take, whatever character that, I was given, or any character that was that I had portrayed, and put a little bit of myself into it, but also be able to express my emotions through those characters.
Mm-hmm.
That was always just very freeing for me, I think. Because you are somebody, who, you are who you are.
Right.
But to be able to portray somebody else who's totally not you is just it's a very freeing, I think, experience to have.
Absolutely. It's basically like you can be someone else, and then you can be able to enjoy being someone else, and then you can put on clothing that you perhaps maybe have not tried on or something like that. It's like an image transformation, I guess I would say, for some. And so I'm pretty sure that would be something interesting that entrepreneurs would like to, pursue. That is just totally awesome. So how has this impacted you as an actor or an entrepreneur? So in regards to the question, we all have busy lifestyles. We all have different other things that we're doing. We have family. We have work. We have I guess the book club. So how has acting impacted you how has this impacted your career? A lot of times actors or actresses, they have to spend a lot of time in front of the camera. They have to spend countless hours in front of their directors or their producers or their staff. So how has this impacted you? How was you able to jog all of this into one day as you pursue this on a daily basis?
Well, I am very, very lucky. I have an incredible support system. I would never be able to do anything that I do if it weren't for my husband. He's extremely supportive. He loves the fact that I'm getting to do what I've always wanted to do, and he can see that difference in me. Every day when I get a job, or if I, get into a film festival with my new film, or if something exciting happens to me, he's right there supporting, cheering me on, and he's there to, pick up, the kids when I can't, or, put them to bed when I can't, or, he's an extremely hands-on father, and just an incredible support for me. So the only reason I can do what I do is because I have his support, and I have my kids' support too, which is, very important as well.
Absolutely. So I don't know, I think it was 2014, we had Madeline Curtis, and she played in several films with Friday the 13th, and she's an actress as well, and she does dancing and other different productions and what have you. And so while she was on the show, she shared some of the similarities of some of your responses, and so that's the reason why I get a kick out of interviewing stars or actresses that I guess entrepreneurs can be able to relate to, because sometimes people don't go into the industry simply because of the fact they think it's going to be long and drawn out, and they're not going to be able to see their family, their children, their husband, or what have you. So that is important when whatever that we're pursuing, that we do have support as far as family is concerned, and that is such an awesome thing that your husband is right there to support you in each and every way. So I like that. So what
I think
were
it's
some
also
of the
important for, your children, my children too, because,
Okay.
You want your kids to, well, first of all, I want my kids to see that I'm doing something that I love, and that I'm pursuing something that I love, and that I have, a passion. But I also want them to take, pride in that too, and I want them to be excited as well. I just finished a feature film, The Dog Walker, and it was my production company's first feature film. And my kids, they're little, they can't really have a 8-year-old and a 13-year-old, and they can't really see it. It's something that I wouldn't want them to see. It's a thriller, and something would be very scary for them to see. But, they still, at the same time, they're wearing the dog walker shirt, the dog walker hats. They tell their friends, my mommy's in a film. They're just very excited about, the fact that they can see how excited I am, so they take on that excitement. I think that's important.
And just to pause and interject to the listeners that the Dog Walker, the trailer film, is also on our Roku channel with Women Who Rock with Success. So I got an opportunity, and if you didn't get an opportunity, listeners and viewers, to be able to get a clip and a trailer view of the Dog Walker, you can be able to do that on our Roku channel on Women Who Rock with Success. And I was like, and so when I saw it and things, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a horror. And so it was kind of cute. It was kind of sort of comical, but it was kind of chilling as well. So, and so I like the trailer part of it, and we are just excited for the full film to be able to come out so we can be able to see it. So what were some of the pros and cons for your acting business? I know that you talked about you was a school teacher, you taught drama, and so what were some of the pros and cons? And so let's pause there, and I always like to explain to the guests, to the listeners as well, is that, with anything that we do, it's going to be some peaks and there's going to be some valleys. There are going to be some challenges, and there's going to be some times where things are just going just super, super great. So just in case for those that may be pursuing that type of field that you're in, just list some of the pros and cons that perhaps maybe have came with the business.
Well, being an actress is a very tough business. There is a million people who want to do it, and basically only one person out of 1,000 sometimes, 2,000 sometimes can get the job. So I always say it's unforgiving in that sense. You really have to want it, and you really have to work hard for it. And you have to do everything you can to stay current, meaning you have to constantly update your websites. You have to constantly update, constantly better yourself by taking classes, making sure you're current on all the stuff that's going on, new and new stuff in the acting world, what casting directors are looking for, what directors are looking for. And I'm a big believer in, if you can't get the work, make the work. Do it yourself and do what you love. You shouldn't be waiting around, for it to come to you. Even just, shooting a scene with a friend on an iPhone, or creating a web series, or writing a script on I'm always, a big believer in that. And I have an amazing acting teacher that I've been working with for 2 years. He was my coach on the dog walker. That's how I met him. And I started working with him right after that. And he is incredible. His name is Matt Newton, and he's from the MN Acting Studio. And he does a lot of on-set training, too, so he's very current. He knows exactly what's going on sets and, what casting directors want and what directors want and what's needed. And he's a big believer in creating your own work as well, because, if you can't find the work or you can't get the work, and it isn't usually, it's not because of your skill a lot of times. It's because the director is looking for somebody with blonde hair and you have brown hair, or they're somebody who's 5'10" and you're 5'6", and you could be perfect in every other way, but it's just not the perfect fit that they're looking for. And if you can't get that work, then create it yourself. There's so many platforms out there now that you can be seen in, YouTube and all these other kinds of online platforms that can be seen, that you can be seen, your work can be seen. That there's no excuse at this point to just wait around and do for somebody else to give you a job. I mean, as much as you might, as much as that's the dream, if it can't happen, then you really should be creating your own stuff, just to work, just to keep doing what you love.
So do you suggest that those that are seeking that type of field, do you suggest they would need perhaps like a mentor, such as what you had, like a trainer? Do you suggest that it would be more, profitable for them in the future to be able to have a mentor with them?
I think that you should always have somebody to help you along. Any support you can get is great, but I think always improving yourself is important. Always take classes. Always keep going. Always. My teacher actually calls it, going to the acting gym. Just to keep you using your muscles, using those muscles, so that when you do have the opportunity to be on set, or you do have the opportunity to be in a play, or on TV, that you're ready to go.
I kind of agree because I try to impact women to let them know that you cannot build anything unless you have some sort of sweat equity. I'm not for sure. I think it was the Golden Global Awards, and so when actress, I think it was Regina King, had won an award, you could tell from her expression, not what she said, but it was an expression that she had the tears, she was crying, and of how it appeared that she did a lot of work to try to make sure that she met that chapter in her life. She succeeded to something that, of her acting career. And so along with her and other actors that were up on the front, I think actor Spike Lee jumped in someone's lap or something like that.
He jumped on Samuel Jackson's. Yeah, this was at the Oscars. Yep.
Okay, yeah. And so when I see that, I'm looking at these guys have really actually put in some sweat equity, not just those two. There were a lot of others that have won, but I was looking at the expressions of how they reacted when their names were called, and that's important simply because of the fact if you don't show it, that just tells me that you haven't done anything. But when you show some sort of expression, that's letting me know that you're working hard. You're trying to get to you're trying to get the people to see how hard it was or how difficult it was or how, you worked so tirelessly to be able to get to that level. And so my hat is off to those that won the awards for the Oscars, for the Global Golden Global Awards. That's just awesome that people may have to take sacrifices, to be able to get to those particular areas in their life. And so as well as my head is also off to you. I just can't wait till this movie comes out, which we're going to go to the next segment of mysteries and thrillers. And so we want you to be able to give us a little information about Dates from Hell, because Agatha Christie, Columbo, Peter Falk, those were my types of favorite, and they still are. They're my favorite actors and actresses. And I just want you to elaborate on that a little bit. Dates from Hell, the movie itself.
The Dog Walker. You mean the Dog Walker, the one that just came out? The one I just finished?
I thought I saw something where I thought you appeared in a movie called The Dates from Hell, but you can elaborate on a little bit more on the Dog Walker. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, The Dog Walker is it is a thriller. It's our first feature film. I created a production company with a few girls back in 2013 called Gladiolus Productions. And the Dog Walker is written by one of my partners, Kylie Garcelon. She wrote and she directed it. And I play the lead. The lead her name is Samantha Jones, and she is an investigative journalist who is well known, and she is this really. She's won a lot of awards, and she's just extremely well known for investigative journalism, and she breaks this very large story. And in the process of breaking this large story, she sees something that just really shakes her to her core. Something happens during the breaking of that story that just makes her just want to stop doing her investigative journalism. And you find out in the beginning of the film what that is. And she decides that she's going to retire from investigative journalism, and she's just going to go and live in New York City and just be anonymous. And she does one last interview and basically just says, I'm done with investigative journalism. And after that story broke, she left the story. The cops came in, and she wanted nothing to do with the story ever again. It was that traumatizing for her. Wow. And so after she breaks the story and the cops come in, she decides that that's a part of her life she does not want to have anymore. So she moves to New York City, and she gets a dog, and she just tries to become completely anonymous. And she moves into an apartment, and she is with her, she hangs out with her two closest friends, and she starts this new life. She has a very small job at a local gossip column. It's not really a gossip column. It's just a column. And so she starts, instead of being this world-renowned investigative journalist, she does like much more downscale stuff. She just wants to kind of be anonymous, wants to kind of just blend into the scenery. And then she gets a stalker. And all these things start to happen to her. And you just see this very fragile woman. I mean, in the very beginning of the film, she's so fragile. You just everywhere she turns, she's afraid of something happening. She's afraid, she's in a new place, but she's afraid somebody's watching her. She's afraid, that somebody's after her. She's afraid. She's always afraid. She's always on edge. So at the beginning of the film, you see this very, very fragile woman just constantly being fragile. And then all of a sudden, she gets the worst thing that could possibly happen. It starts happening. and she gets a stalker, and all these really bad things started happening to her. And you just see this fragile woman slowly declining, and then quicker and quicker and quicker. And she just goes into this, like, abyss of bad things happening. And then she has to figure out who the stalker is and why they're stalking her. So she's kind of thrown back into the investigative part of her. And then that's the storyline.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That's chilling to even listen to. That seems like that's going to be very, very interesting. And so, just about out of airtime. Just a couple more questions for you. What would you like to leave with the listeners in regards to pursuing their passion, pursuing what it is that they want to do? How can they? What tools can you leave to prevent them? That can prevent them from becoming procrastinated where they are?
I would say that right now my biggest mantra is no regrets. I would say that, it's very important at this point. If you're not going to do it now, when are you going to do it? Recently, the no regrets has been a big one for me. I don't want to regret not doing what I've always wanted to do. I want to take risks, and I want to live life to the fullest. And when I was younger, I was too scared to put myself out there and try. And now I just feel like I can't waste another minute of it. It's just do it now, or when are you going to do it? Don't put it off, because life is short. I mean, look what just happened to poor Luke Perry. You just don't know what's around the corner, and if you don't do it now, there's just no time like the present, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And if you have the opportunity to do it now, you should definitely do it.
Yeah, it was kind of sad about him. I was watching some of the clippings on the news, and then I saw some of it, online as well on the news reports. And so, yeah, I agree with you. Do whatever it is to make you, get charged up and stay charged up, and always have you someone like a trainer or a mentor to be able to help you, to coach you along the way. So for the last question, how can the listeners be able to connect with you, or where can they follow you?
I'm very active on Instagram. I post all of my stuff on Instagram, so you can follow me at RDS Babina. So that's R as in Robin, D S as in Sam, B as in boy, A, B as in boy, I-N-A. That's my handle, RDS Babina. And I post pictures almost every day, and stills from all the work that I do are on there. And I also accept DMs and private messages and stuff like that if people want to ask questions.
Perfect. Ladies, we have had an awesome time today with Actress Robyn Babina. It has just been truly an experience to be able to talk with you today and have you as a guest on the show. For all upcoming events, listeners and viewers, just go to our website at www.womenwhorockwithsuccess.com for all of our upcoming events and other storylines that we have. So, again, Robyn, we appreciate your time that you took out today to be our guest on the show, and perhaps we may have you back on to get an update. I'm sorry?
I said thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
It was. So perhaps after the movie comes out, we'll probably have you back on the show so we can get some updates of your career in filming. So, again, thank you so much for being our guest. And until next time, we will see you on Tuesday at 9 o'clock a.m., Women Who Rock with Success, Central Standard Time. Have a great day.